to episode 2 of my clinical laboratory posting. I'm seriously running out of intro ideas. But anyways, today started with me meeting my friend on the road, and luckily we entered the same bus. The whole ride was basically just us talking about school, posting, and everything we'll be learning lately. The hospital, I signed in and headed back to the collection unit. There wasn't really much work today, but we were still being taught important things, and we kept asking questions here and there. One thing I'm beginning to realize is that in this field, you can never really know too much. Asking questions helps a lot, because sometimes one small question can teach you something you probably would never have noticed on your own. I decided to humble me, so I went to get meat pie, because that was honestly the only thing on my mind at the moment. It got really stuffy, so I went outside to stroll a little bit. Honestly, the rate at which people are sick in this hospital made me realize how important this country really needs healthcare practitioners. This is all that I can say for now. Stay tuned for episode 3. Welcome to episode 3B of my clinical laboratory posting. If you haven't watched the previous episodes, please after everything we did at the hospital, it was finally time to sign out and head back to school. Honestly, I thought I could be completely drained because the day has been long, but somehow I was still filled up with energy, because I was excited about everything I just learned, or because I was just happy to be done for the day. I felt surprisingly alive. Allowed to wear our scrubs to school, so we had to change our school uniform. The major thing we were taught today was blood grouping. Before now, I knew blood grouping existed, but today's lesson helped me understand why they are so important in healthcare. It's just about knowing whether someone is A, B, or O. It's about ensuring that patients receive compatible blood when they need transfusion. It wasn't just another posting day. It was a day filled with lessons, laughter, conversations, and a deeper understanding of how important laboratory work really is. Episode 3B comes to an end. Today, I'm taking you guys behind the scene of what happens in the medical laboratory. This might just be one of the most interesting episodes of my clinical laboratory posting. Have you ever wondered what those samples that are taken in the hospital are being used for? Well, let me show you. Episode 6 of my clinical laboratory posting. After being brief, we headed to where the work gets done. First, we performed the packed cell volume test. We carried out an RVS test using an RVS tree to check whether a patient is HIV positive or negative. Performed genotype testing. One of my favorite procedures, because it's amazing how a few drops of blood can reveal inherited genetic traits. I was feeling a little stuffy, so I stepped out for a short stroll. I planned to buy food before the practical session, but after spending hours surrounded by blood samples and laboratory procedures, my appetite quietly disappeared. The form for the day was a whiteout test. It is used to detect typhoid fever. Like this remind me why I enjoy laboratory science so much. It has a purpose. Every result tells a story, and every practical session teaches me something new. So you met lab student about to start your posting, especially in your third year 300 level, this video is for you. When I was preparing for my lab posting, I thought it was just about showing off a laboratory, but I quickly realized that your experience depends on how prepared you are before you step into the lab. Don't go to the lab with the mindset of just completing attendance. Go there to learn, ask questions, observe procedures carefully, and try to understand why each step is performed. Secondly, revise the basics before each posting. If you are going to the hematology bench, review blood cells, anticoagulants, and common laboratory tests. Microbiology, brush up on staining techniques, culture media, and identification methods. The more prepared you are, the easier it is to follow what's happening in the lab. Proper use of personal protective equipment, specimen handling, waste disposal, and infection prevention. Just memorize procedures, understand the principles behind them, learn to identify laboratory equipment, reagents, organisms, blood cells, and test results, because these are common areas examined during spot. Write down new procedures, important observations, and explanations given by your supervisors. It's valuable when preparing for your exam. Finally, don't be afraid to make mistakes while learning. The goal of lab posting is to gain experience and improve your skills.